Hey everyone, releasing today, I believe it's Friday, August 5th, 2021. We are recapping History of the Buffalo Bills Part 3. It was a very nice piece to write, kind of goes into the Chuck Knox years, the Bills kind of rise to prominence, Chuck Knox leaving for the Seattle Seahawks, and then the Bills crashing down immediately. Jim Kelly's refusal to play for Buffalo right away, going to the USFL folding, Jim Kelly coming to the Bills, kind of the shady situation of the Bills throwing a game in Tampa in 1986, allegedly, to get Marv Levy hired. And then the Bills rise to prominence in the late 80s, the drafting of Thurman Thomas, the trade of Cornelius Bennett, the drafting the first overall Bruce Smith, obviously one of the best defensive end prospects in the history of football. I would say that worked out pretty good for the Bills. Lots of good stuff. We go through all of the 80s, which obviously was the highs in the early 80s, the lows in the mid 80s, some of the worst teams in NFL history. In 1984 and 1985, the Bills there was bad, and there was the mid 80s Bills bad. To the late 80s, the bickering Bills in 1989 was, you could just write a book about that season alone. Obviously, if you notice, I have several paragraphs just about that season. As you know, in this documentary, I'm not going to go over game-by-game analysis. I kind of like to talk about the big themes, the big moments in team's history. Hopefully you like it. It ends, just to let you know, in the first Super Bowl year. Part 4, obviously, is going to be primarily the Super Bowl years in the early 90s. And obviously the Bills mini dynasty that was or wasn't, however you want to analyze it. I kind of call it a dynasty. Would you say the Atlanta Braves are a dynasty in baseball, winning 15 straight division titles? Yeah, probably. That is a team that was dominant, even though they only won one championship. Of course, the Bills. As you'll find out in Part 4, kind of what happened in those Super Bowl years. Many of you, if you're a Bills fan, you know already. Even if you're a younger Bills fan, under the age of 30, who aren't really around, are just a small baby during those years. I was old enough to remember those years, those teams. That was when I actually got into football. Was in those years, the San Francisco 49ers in 1989. I remember seeing them play the Broncos 55-10. This is a history of the Buffalo Bills piece. Not a history of the San Francisco 49ers, but a little tidbit. There actually is a little bit. The Bills actually, Joe Montana did cross paths in the early 1980s. You'll have to read to find out exactly what and why. Anyways, go to drewsports.com to check it out. Follow me on Facebook at SportsStewWithDrew, or go to Twitter at StewDrew. I appreciate your support, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll have Part 4 released next week, Part 5 released early, and Part 6 probably released the following week. We're going to be rapid firing these last 3 pieces because my NFL season previews will be starting in a couple weeks. Football's going to be here right before you know it. I mean, there already was a game last night. If you cared about watching, Cooper Rush versus Dwayne Haskins, just exciting stuff to watch on an early August evening. Anyways, have a great day, everyone. Thanks again. I'm going to rip this off. How does that sound? Is it going to work? Yes, it is. Bye.